Hello, it's me. Nope. Oh, there, now it's me. Hi, everybody. Hello. Let me actually... I'm not quite finished getting everything set up, am I? Gotta make sure my microphone manager is open. Hello, microphone manager. You're open now. And let's double check the audio settings to make sure I'm not coming through quiet. I don't know what was happening before that would adjust my system level device volume, but it has not done it in like a couple months. Fucking fingers crossed, knock on wood. Is bamboo wood? My desk is bamboo. I don't know if this is that wood? It's never a good thing when you need to ask if you've got wood. You know what I mean? Anyway, hi everybody. It's a day. Today's a day, and it's a day, and days are days. And I feel like this chair is starting to sink already, which is interesting. Okay, boost me a little bit. Boost my booster chair. Hi, Vyron. I agree. I don't actually know. I've never played Sonic Mania. The only game I've really seen of Sonic is Sonic Adventure Battle 2. But I could definitely see the Mario Kart vibes of that Jazz Dog song. Shout out to Jazz Dog for making the song. I just realized, literally before I started this stream, Jazzy Jazz, that you messaged me and I forgot to message you back. Yeah. So I'm sorry about that. That was weeks ago. I will message you back. Are you Prime? I fucking finally remembered because of the way that the capitalization is on the website. How to say your name. Technically, bamboo is a type of grass. Okay, that's fair. You know what? And I still didn't find out if my wand is made of wood or if this is actually bamboo. Like, so I don't know if I'm knocking on wood when I do that. Do I have any wood near me? Again, never a good thing to have to ask. Where's my wood? You know? Evan says, have I mentioned that my turtle, who I thought was a boy, turned out to be a girl, which surprised me with an egg last Friday? That's so cute. Parthenogenesis. I can't fucking believe they said parthenogenesis in Avatar Fire and Ash. Like, yeah, fucking, anyway, Jesus. Anyway, I do want to watch it now that it's on Disney Plus, because I went and saw it in theaters, and I do want to watch it again, but I really don't feel like I have 3 hours to just sit and watch a movie. I'm got so much like schoolwork and stuff going on right now that I feel like I'm going to need to build in the 3 hours to watch a movie because I need to build in rest into my schedule. But I don't mind it. I like being busy, actually, it turns out. Bloody Hatter, hello. Says, I officially started a HRT, had some insurance hiccups. My doctor's office got it straightened out. It's a Minecraft day for me today. Hell yes. I'm so excited for people starting HRT. Isn't that great? Yeah. Hi, YouTuber Grudge. Hi, John. Hi, Quantum Chaos. Awesome 406. Sanic the Hedoge. True. The Hedoge. Hi. There was a reason I capitalized it the way I did. Yeah. And it's so I can read your name. Bamboo is a cellulose fiber bound by lignin, which is basically what wood is. See, there's a reason why they are relatively interchangeable surfaces. Like, there's a reason why when I bought my desk, they had solid wood options, but they also had, or were they solid wood? God, no wonder they were so expensive if they were solid wood now that I think about it. But this is a bamboo surface, so it's like, it's clearly a bunch of strips of bamboo that have been, like, pressed somehow together. So, yeah. It would adjacent, precisely. Exactly. It's kind of hard for me to tell where the different parts of your name begin and end, but I'm gonna go with Yoro. Yoro, do you think there might be any chance of a change in attitude toward trans people in the UK now that there's a new prime minister? Gonna be completely real with you, I did not know that y'all were doing another election. I had no idea that was happening. UK Prime Minister. Who is it now? Or, the next one that was just voted in? Keir Starmer? I thought that that's already who it was. Or is it like next person? Oh, wait, hold on. Here we go. Prime Minister Keir Starmer steps down, releases ministerial responsibility. Okay. Andy Burnham, who has recently been sworn in as an MP, is a popular candidate to replace Starmer as the leader of the Labour Party. Okay, so basically this is like, do we think the next person who's going to head the Labour Party, which is like roughly equivalent to the Democratic Party? I know that in the past, Labour Party was like more left, but I think that the Labour Party has definitely become more centrist in recent years. And it's like the Green Party is the further left, one of the further left parties anyway. So that's kind of my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of that. But yeah, so I'm seeing basically there's a question of like, is this popular but kind of new MP potentially? First of all, is he going to win the election? Because we have to have a whole fucking election, right? Like you don't appoint prime ministers, you elect them. And you guys you're able to have elections for your PM much more frequently and like not on a set schedule versus the way that we do it, which is fucking stupid, TBH. But yeah. So it's to say like, is your Labour Party about to be headed by somebody who is further left than Keir Starmer? Apparently certain types of turtles lay eggs regardless of whether said eggs are fertilized or not. Oh, okay, like chickens. How chickens just, it's their period, they just lay eggs. I didn't bring any drink with me today. I'm gonna grab a soda. Infinite soda glitch, sugar-free, no caffeine, root beer. Root beer, root beer, root beer, root beer, root beer. Hello. Now I have a root beer. Yeah. You know what? It occurs to me that I don't really need to flinch my eyes when I open a can. Because obviously you're worried about getting sprayed in the face with the can opening. But I wear glasses now, so I don't need to worry about it as much. I'm just still not used to it. Ah, yes, the bababas of a streamer trying to fill time as they look something up on the net. The soundtrack of my people. So it's interesting. I do think that public speaking skills, when you're learning them formally, they do try to teach you not to use filler words. And instead to let your silences, if you're going to collect your thoughts for a moment, just let there be a little moment of silence, right? For public speaking in many situations, it makes you seem more confident. The more ums and ahs, the more it seems like you're hedging. But I don't actually know if those same rules apply to being on a live stream, especially because I don't do, and maybe I should, like some lo-fi music that just plays in the background at all times. Because I do think, plenty of people are not watching. Plenty of people are just listening. Or maybe you have me on your second screen. Not a problem for that. But, so if you are not seeing the video and I'm silent for a moment, then you might think like, oh, did the connection drop? Is there something wrong with the stream? And I also, not so much the pauses to collect your thoughts, but when I see streamers who, maybe it might make sense for a streamer who is speed running, where you like really are focused in on what you're doing. But for the most part, if a gaming streamer is silent for extended periods, and by extended periods, I mean, let's say more than 5 seconds or more than 10 seconds, take your poison on that, then, I don't know, it strikes me as like less professional, or like you're providing less value to the people who are watching maybe. I'm not sure exactly what my feeling is on this, but I've always felt a little bit judgmental. And like, to be fair, the person that I'm thinking of, and I want everybody to be completely clear about this, is Destiny, because I saw clips of Destiny and there would be these long pauses while he's just playing the game and not reading chat and not like talking to chat. So that might be part of why I feel judgmental of that behavior. But I don't know. Do you drink diet soda? I don't. I mean, like kind of, but I don't drink any soda that is labeled diet. And by that, I typically associate diet soda as being sweetened completely by aspartame. I don't really love the taste of aspartame. It isn't my favorite, but I like some of these zero sugar products, like A&W Zero Sugar root beer and, you know, Dr. Pepper cream soda zero sugar, because they use like a combination of aspartame and this other compound that's abbreviated to ACE-K, and it's tasty. It's quite tasty. But like functionally it's zero sugar, 0 calories, so I guess if you're being technical about it, it is diet soda, but it's just flavored water. Isn't that great? It doesn't have any of the things in it that are usually bad for you about soda. Isn't that great? I have a Diet Dr. Pepper in front of me. Yeah, I like Dr. Pepper's zero sugar. Although, I don't know. I definitely enjoy the Dr. Pepper cream soda more than the Dr. Pepper by itself. And I think that's true of the full sugar versions as well. I just, it's like soda is kind of hit or miss for me, you know? Plattner is done. Yes, I've heard about Plattner. You know what's really interesting about that is that I kind of liked him. You know, I knew that he had like the skull and crossbones tattoo. I think it's very understandable that he would have just gotten a skull and crossbones tattoo, not knowing that that specific style of it was like Nazi coded. Whatever. I'm kind of like, he immediately got it covered as soon as he found out about it, or as soon as it went public or whatever. I don't know. But I was like, okay, cool. You know what? He's moving past it. But with like credible accusations related to sexual assault, I'm like, you need to know better than to run for public office. I'm sorry, like maybe you are totally reformed and you can be a person who's totally reformed, right? You're allowed to live your life if justice has been done and apologies have been made, whatever. I don't know if that's the case with this situation. I don't fucking know, whatever. People can change even if they never really did apologize or get closure for previous situations too. Like, I get it, whatever. I'm willing to allow for that. However, you do need to know better than to run for public office. Like, there are things that you should not do. You need to know that, like, you cannot be in a position of power if you have already exploited your power. And, like, I don't think, like, this is, I just think this is one of those situations where it's like, yes, sometimes you make a mistake and it does limit you. I'm not saying you needed to be, like, excommunicated from your church or from your community. I'm not saying that, you know, you need to have a sign outside your door. I'm not saying any of those things, but I don't think that you should run for office. I think that you should know better. Like, honestly, I also don't think you should be like a coach. Like, I think that you should not be in positions of authority in general. So that's, I'm like, it kind of sucks because I think his rhetoric was good. So if somebody else wants to take up the rhetoric of, like, in particular, the town hall where he basically tried to, I think that what he was trying to do is be like, we are trying to move forward as a country. Oh, yeah. 1 second. We're trying to move forward as a country, and we do have to do that together to some extent. So if your neighbor has been duped by a con man, then, you know, it might be helpful if you need to move forward to, like, not hate them for being stupid. Like, that's not what he said. It's what I'm saying. Don't hate people who are stupid. You know, like, if you, you know, I know somebody who got tricked by one of those payday loan places. Yeah, we're talking Plattner. I know somebody who got tricked by one of those payday loan places. And while I did think it was stupid of her to do that, to, like, not know, but I'm like, that seems like an obvious scam. But I didn't, like, make fun of her or tell her she was stupid or tell her it was her own fault or whatever. Like when she realized and became regretful about the situation that she had gotten herself into, um, you know, it was like, yeah, you're just gonna have to work your way out of that situation. You know, that's the only thing you can do. And I do think that former Trump supporters, the process of them working their way out of the position that they're in is making proper restitution and apologies, to be clear. But I don't think that they are like permanently exiled from the society that we're trying to build together. You know, like we have to live we live next door to these people, right? Like your next door neighbor might be a Trump supporter. And when larger structures fail, which they will, when like larger structures of supply chain or stability of the economy or other relevant high level administrative issues like that, which we are seeing a breakdown already occurring in many different capacities, and that's only going to increase. So we will have to figure out a way to move forward with these people. And I'm just saying, like, that we need to figure that out soon. Like, we need to, like, figure out what that looks like. Because we can't, like, you can't secede your neighborhood every other house, you know? You can't, like, divvy up the neighborhood and then you're just living in two different countries and all the Trump supporters are in their own country and you're like, it's not gonna work that way. So, yeah, I don't know. Super chats, thank you so much. My Unfinished Journey. Those are some really interesting names. For the 666, first of all, hail Nero, hail Lux, and hail sugar-free options. Hail sugar-free options for sure. Thank you so much. Someone should only get forgiveness if they actually change. That's fair. I think that's fair. Thank you, My Unfinished Sock, for the $5. Says, don't run for office with a checkered past. Like and share the stream instead. True. Thank you so much. Yeah, liking the stream. Listen, I'm not going to pretend that I've never said anything problematic, but I'm a relatively unproblematic streamer. So you can bet that clicking like on my stream is not going to reflect badly on you. You're not going to get canceled for hanging out at a Luxander stream. I don't know. Tell me, there are probably, right? Like there are probably people who I haven't talked to or thought about in years who would not associate with people who watch me. Are we at that point with anybody? Like obviously, there's plenty of folks who are like, oh my God, if you watch Vosh, I don't want to talk to you, right? Like, because Vosh is a polarizing figure.
Drea has donated $100. Hi.
Okay, the text-to-speech kind of took me out for a second there. Thank you so much, Drea. Oh my gosh. So generous. Thank you. Damn, I guess that makes things easy for me to go, because I'll just put this at 100, and then I'll go get Mina. Where is she? Where are you, baby? No, she's not in here? She really wanted to fight me earlier, and I was trying to give her a little bit of it, but I also was like, I have shit to do, so I don't know what kind of mood she's in. We'll find out. Excuse me. In just one moment. Oh my gosh. And I will respond to your chats. I see some chats that I want to respond to when I get back. I'll be right here in a second. Where did she go? Mina. She was really hiding, you guys. She was hiding. Hiding Mina. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. Mi amor. Hello, baby. Hi, honey. Oh, you are so sweet. Yeah. Mhm. You are now officially called Lua. I've missed you. Your chats are now both in the middle of activities of mine. Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah. I haven't even really been streaming on Sundays, and I don't know if I'm going to pick it back up, at least for the time being. Um, Again, I think it's very funny that I started college during the summer, not realizing that, like, oh, because it's a shorter period of time, that it's going to be harder, like that the same amount of material is being packed into a smaller amount of time. So, yeah, that's been kind of fun. Hi, baby. So I basically feel like, if I do well at this term, then I'm going to feel like the rest of college is super fucking easy. I mean, obviously things will get harder. Like the math will get harder or whatever, but I feel like if the lower level stuff makes sense, then it'll probably translate upwards. You are so good. Look at how fluffy. Look at how fluffy the baby. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? You crying? Did you guys hear her? You are such a baby. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna kiss you and then I'll put you down, okay? But I have to kiss you first. That's the rules. I have to kiss you first and then I'll put you down. Give me a kiss. Give me the kiss. Give it and then I'll put you down. Yeah, come here. Mwah. Thank you very much. She's a sweet girl. She's a sweet girl. She's definitely earning her treats. Yeah, yeah. Bringing out that moneymaker, that adorable, sweet little face. I did just post a video of her. Oh my god, I actually have a tool at my disposal now that I think is going to completely revolutionize my ability to fucking get work done for YouTube. Because we were talking last time about how I like Canvas so much for college, and how I was like, I want something that's similar to this for managing my tasks that I need to do for work. Like, it's the only area of my life where I really struggle with motivation and discipline. And so I'm using Monday, the app Monday, and it's working so well. But I'm posting on Patreon more often now because that's like a huge thing that I've been meaning to do more. And I did just post a video. It's actually a YouTube members thing as well. If you want to join on YouTube members, they're not the same things. Like, you will not get the same rewards on Patreon and members, but there is some overlap. I'm gonna always give preference to Patreon. So like, it's the $3 tier on my Patreon to get secret videos, which includes like vlogs of stuff that I don't talk about publicly, or like cat videos. Like, so that's most recent one was a cat video, and basically I saw a video online of somebody had taken like a dinner casserole dish, and they put water in there, or like a Rubbermaid or something. Maybe it was a Rubbermaid. I used a dinner casserole dish because I wanted to do it at a smaller scale. But so it was like a Tupperware, like a large tub, kind of like this, of water. And then they had floated on there some bottle caps, like from Gatorade or milk or something, like a bottle cap, and placed treats on those as like little floating things. And I decided to try that with Mina. And the results are on my Patreon and a YouTube short for members only here on YouTube. So it's $5 to be a member here on YouTube because YouTube takes more of your money. And I get proportionally less of it if I were to set it at $3. So, yeah, that's the one kind of benefit of members is, getting some member only videos. And it's also on Patreon for $3. So yeah, it was very cute. And I really do hope people enjoy it. My cat is fat, but I can't not give her treats. Well, okay, so I will say if your cat is 22 and she's fat, you should just switch her to the treats that increase their bone density. Like right before Mitternacht died, I had started giving him treats that were basically for his joints because a little arthritis situation going on. And then they do also sell food that is, I mean, it's prescription, but they do sell food through like veterinary pharmacies that they can eat the same volume of food, but it just keeps them satiated for longer, so they don't eat as much. It's like diet food for cats or whatever. And they have those that also have stuff in it that boosts kitties' joints and arthritis and everything. So I hate Canvas. They changed it at one point and it made me so mad. I couldn't find anything after the update. I hate Canvas. Well, I've never used it before. So my teachers mostly are using the like modules section. So you basically like just start at the top and here's this assignment or this page of teaching or telling you to read something or whatever, or link to a video. And then you just scroll to the bottom and click next. And it just gives you basically each assignment one after the other by just clicking next. And you can see it in the modules menu as like week by week, which is super useful. TBH, if your cat is 22, give her whatever she wants. True. Yeah, I'm just like, I feel really bad with Mitternacht that I had only just gotten my shit together enough to be like, oh, you know what? We should probably like really actually try to get him on a diet and like address his arthritis and all this kind of stuff. And like I had just bought him a bottle of gabapentin to deal with his discomfort, and it was like kitty gabapentin that was compounded into treats. So I was basically like, I get to spoil this boy. I get to give him all these delicious treats. The one that you're thinking of, Unfinished Journey, is called Canva. Canva is the graphics app. Canvas is it's a school thing. I think that maybe we had a version of Canvas in high school, or maybe it was a little bit before. Like maybe I was in high school before everyone was kind of expected to have a computer at home. God, I'm old. Anyway, I was so looking forward to giving him some really wonderful sunset years. And I just feel a little bit bummed out that he died first. Feel bad. Why are you having to rehome your kitty? Drea, I saw you message that you're having to rehome your kitty. What's going on? Speaking of kitties, hi Kitty Tick. Hello. The tiny muse, you could hear her. Okay, good. Yeah, she is a talker. She is a yapper. And sometimes she's like, ah! That's you. That's what you sound like, Mina. She just went at me in response. Yeah, that's you. That's her. Please beat me up. She's like, please fight me. I want to fight you. Please fight me. Isn't that so? Yeah, you're so good. This girl greets me whenever I come home after I've been gone. Like I go to the gym or I go to class and I come home and she greets me at the door like every single time now, and it feels really good. And she's in my office all the time, and again, she's still not getting to a like wants to be in my lap level, but I think she's just too young. Like I think she's just too playful, and when she gets older, maybe in a few years she'll start to level out a little bit more, but she just is not interested in trying to jump up in my lap. Yeah, she's so funny. The baby has been spending a lot of time outside lately, and I keep finding many good sticks. I am now making a walking stick out of a cedar sapling and enjoying the smell of sawdust while listening. Ooh! Nice. Nice, nice, nice. My 17-year-old cat was fat from 9 to 16, and now I'm worried she's too thin. That does happen with some cats when they get older. They like suddenly lose weight. I would definitely like. I mean, there's only so much you can do really, but if your cat suddenly loses like, okay, so think of their body percentage. If your cat weighs like 10 pounds, if they lose a pound, that's 10% of their body weight. It's a significant change. Um, so if you notice changes in your cat, it's actually pretty good to like bring them in sooner than later, just to be like, look, if there's a reduction in appetite, there's medicines you can give your cat to stimulate appetite. Like I was given something to rub on Lucy's ear that was like supposed to stimulate his appetite. But that is something that you can address perhaps so that your cat, you know, maintains like a level of health into their old age. Canvas got bought out by a Windows only developer. Aw. Oh, the Canvas I'm thinking of precedes Canva. It was originally for Macs only and then got bought out. Okay, I see. I missed your first message. Jeller says, thank you for sharing your experience with online college. I feel like there's this stigma about going back to college after a long gap, but I did it and I feel pretty good about my experience. Yeah, I don't know that there's as much of a stigma anymore, but maybe that's just because I don't talk to people. And like, I know there's several older attendees in the class that I have to attend in person, classes that I have to attend in person. So yeah, which is cool because I feel like, we haven't all met and started talking to each other, but we all like, some of us have started forming groups or like pairing off, or like, there's some acknowledgement of each other as like older people who are returning to school. So yeah, I don't know. It's been nice. It's been good to be like, do you understand this? Like, oh, here's what I thought about this, or here's a trick that I used, And like also discussing the different ways in which we are affording to go to school. Like I'm going through Pell Grants. Somebody I was talking to was like, there's a specific kind of like, I don't know, like vocational rehabilitation program that is enabling her to go to school and not have to work at the same time. Someone else I know is through the veterans benefits going to school. So yeah, it's like cool too to see how many, like obviously there's so much information about going to college when you're 18. You're like, oh my God, get scholarships for your grades or get scholarships for your sports performance or whatever. And yeah, so I just think it's good to learn that the opportunities are not gone for you just because you're not transitioning from high school directly to college. Yeah, there's lots of options there. Oh, rehoming kitties is part of my flee the country prep. They don't travel at all. Oh, that's a bummer. Oh, I mean, it's cool that you're like moving to Ireland, right? But it sucks that you have to give up your babies. Aw. Yeah, my school required me to keep a planner in elementary school, and it was actively checked by the teacher. I remember that. Like I had that too. And turns out it was low-key a good thing to keep a planner. Yeah. A traditional planner just doesn't work for me. I am something about, and like maybe it will only work for a little while. This like my system on Monday, but it's maybe because I'm already checking a lot of these things. This has been built up slowly over time, right? Like putting where I plan to be on my calendar. Like, here's the days I go to the gym. Here's the times I go to the gym. Da da da. I do this, and then following that, I do this, and I have time in between, or I don't. And yeah, so maybe it's just kind of built up over time. But every time I have tried to pick up and start using a physical planner, I don't stick with it longer than like 4 weeks maybe. I love all of your cat stories. I'm not reading every one of them aloud, but I love all of them. Going back to college when you are older and more serious is good, actually. You know, yeah, like I've had more time to figure out who I am. Like, I think if I had gone to college as soon as I graduated, I would have done something stupid like art. And by that, I mean, by saying it's stupid, I mean, everybody I know. Okay, so if you're going to school to learn art, you're probably thinking, I need a job at the end of this. So what do? You do graphic design. And then you have way too many graphic designers and you don't get to have a job. Like, that's how that works. And so in a way, I'm kind of glad that I didn't dive into it at that time, so that now I'm like, okay, I know myself better. I've had some life experience. I've been able to find out what I like and don't like, and what I'm well suited to. Like, part of why I'm focusing down engineering specifically is because I think I'm good at solving problems. Like, I'm good at puzzles. I enjoy doing puzzles. I am enjoying math class because it's a little puzzle. It's a little there's like a formulaic way to do things, and then you just do it, and then you solve a little puzzle, and you get a little dopamine at the end, and it's amazing, right? I like math. It's fun for that reason specifically. So yeah, I don't know. It's like, when you sit down and do a jigsaw puzzle and there's kind of like a method to it where you like start with all the edge pieces and then you work on like certain parts of the thing that are like drawing your attention, or certain things that will be easy to find a lot of detail in or whatever. You don't really like start with, if you've got like parts of the jigsaw puzzle where that's like, okay, there's an entire just like white cloud there that doesn't have a whole lot of features. Okay, then you usually will work on that last, right? So it's similar with math. And I imagine similar with many engineering problems where you're like, oh, this is a puzzle. I need to solve it. I need to create some solutions. I need to test some solutions. And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing. Turns out permaculture design didn't lead to a fruitful career. It will. I think that will be an essential skill when everything collapses, because we can't continue doing monoculture if we don't have a functioning like supply chain network. I do think that it will be necessary for climate resilience as well, for modern farms to start working toward permaculture, right? As opposed to just having a shit ton of all one thing. Whether that's, I don't actually know what the logistics are about orchards specifically, but I do know that there are other crops like the Three Sisters, for example, that like they thrive when they're grown together. I just saw the community guidelines. Yeah, it's basically like be normal means like don't sexually harass me. That's like one of the main things that I mean by it. Howdy, faulty branches. Hold up, you're telling me a scholar built this ship? Yeah, isn't that crazy? I wish that it was standard to take 10 years between high school and college to figure out your life before buckling down for a serious career. Yeah, like if you could just travel through your whole 20s, that would be chill. You'd like Software Lux? I hear everything that I hear about it is that it is very frustrating. And listen, I do like solving problems, but I don't like solving frustrating problems. That's a different, I don't know. Everything I hear about web dev or like software, it just makes it seem like I would not enjoy it. But I'm going to be learning inevitably computer science shit in my college stuff. So yeah, maybe I will fall in love with it. Maybe. John, you understand it. Not normal as in ordinary, but normal as in chill. Yeah, on YouTube when you go to comment, it's like the community rules pop up or whatever, and it just says like be normal. Yeah. Lux might enjoy coding, but maybe not big coding projects. Yeah, the most recent time that I did any coding was for my quadcopter, my RC quadcopter, because we got the it's like is it like FR Sky, something like that, where you have to like you can change different things, like at what speed the different motors rotate and shit like that. So you kind of did have to do a little bit of coding in order to make it work. And then you also had to, it was like you had to, I think it was that you mostly like loaded up the code onto this thing. What the fuck? The transmitter. You load up code onto the transmitter and then it tells the copter what to do. Or no, it was, I did have to plug in the helicopter. It's been a while since I fucked with my drone, being real with you. I still have it. I know where it is, but I just haven't really played with it in a while. I need new batteries. That's the thing. Oh, yeah, I need new batteries. I forgot. Dang. Good morning to you, Awkward Alpha Wolf. Hello. About once a day, my 9 to 5 gives me that problem-solving feeling, and that's what keeps me showing up. There you go. What? You're saying this midder is trans? My midder was trans. Midder, we called Mitternacht midder sometimes. So that's funny. CSS blows, coding everything else runs the gamut. I actually did do CSS back when I had a Gaia Online profile. I did. I knew an art history and various sorts of art MA who went into high finance. Apparently she wasn't lobotomized by art school and had no trouble picking up stochastic partial differential equations and the Malayavan calculus, etc. for the high finance affairs. Well, okay, but you had to, like, learn more shit, right? Like, you don't, like, exit art school or, like, exit having a degree in art knowing how to do advanced calculus unless you were taking enough math classes to minor in math shit. Like, I'm not saying that going to art school the first time around precludes me from the possibility of going a second time and, like, learning engineering later. But I'm just saying, I think it would have been a large amount of time and effort for not very much return that would have taken up a significant part of my 20s. Now, I had completely different and also awful problems for my 20s, but at least I did not go into crazy amounts of debt learning art stuff. You know what I mean? We have some Gaia Online fans in the chat. Do you ever feel like you've just blacked out through your streams? I swear it feels normal during stream, but when I go back to get the clips, there's so much I don't remember saying. Mostly not. I mean, it's different streaming here because mostly I have had all of these thoughts already. So I'm like, yeah, I said that and I remember saying it and I have had those thoughts before. But during the calls, like, I don't remember everything I say during the calls. So you stream and you take calls now. So yeah, I don't really remember a lot of the details of what I say during the calls for the most part. Like, I completely memory hole that shit. This is different. Like, the conversation that we have is different. I still don't think about it a huge amount afterwards, but I'm like, I reference it more often than anything that happens on calls. Like, oh yeah, on stream earlier, chat said blah, blah, blah. Excuse me, but not so much like, oh, we had a caller today that da-da-da-da-da. No, I don't do that. I don't think about those people. And that includes friendly callers, and that is not to say, like, anything personal about any of you. But, like, I think it's just from, like, a layover from working retail for so many years. Like, I don't think about any of these people after I'm done. I think it just saves brain space a little bit because human beings can only, like, meaningfully care about so many people, you know? I triple majored. Now that was a mistake. Dude, I am like so So because I do communications already, and because like, so I see myself going down this pathway of like, yes, I want to do engineering and I would like to work in the engineering field, but also I could, the door is always open for me to be a lobbyist or some other way, like a communicator or advocate. I just think that being an engineer would give me a lot more credibility, and like having not field work experience necessarily, but like experience working on those kind of advanced level problems, I think would lend a lot of credibility if I were to do something like political or public speaking or something like education or something along those lines. So I have considered doing my major in electrical and computer science, like electrical and computer engineering, and minoring in communication, but that feels like a lot of work too. But I don't know, dude. Like, listen, because of the whole like qualified purchases thing on the Pell Grants, I just have so much reason to take as many classes as I can afford under the Pell Grants. Truly. I minored in math. Big mistake. Huge regret. Some of those higher level math classes killed me. Yeah, I'm going to find out. I'm doing well in functions. Like, we're learning logarithms right now. I feel like I understand everything that we have talked about so far. Like, I understand everything pretty much. I even understand why a lot of the things are the way that they are, which is, I think, helpful. I think I have a really good math teacher, and he's brought in a lot of supplemental things. So it's like, if you don't understand something based on how we covered it during the actual lecture, he has the textbook. He wrote the textbook, but it's like for free on the student resources. And oh my God, what was the next thing I was going to say? Wow, I really just completely forgot what I was going to say. Oh, and he also like links videos and stuff in our homework. So if there's any question, basically each and every question on the homework has like are you struggling with this? Here's a video. Pop out the video and watch the video, and it'll explain what I want you to do in this problem. So yeah, I feel like I'm being fully equipped with everything that I need to try to understand, which is helpful. And like, basically what I'm saying is my teachers are good at their job, and I'm trusting them to know how to pace the class. And it's like working pretty well so far, just to like follow the directions and do it in this order, the way that they have it set up. I'm like, okay, it's working. Then this week weirdly feels like I have less work than the previous 2 weeks. Like, this is week 3, and I feel as though I am like, I feel like there's less stuff. Like, I feel less crunched for time this week. That's partially because in my writing class, there aren't as many assignments this week because a major component of our actual like larger writing project is due. And so the teacher was like, you're probably going to want to spend more time on that. So I haven't given you as much other work that's probably going to take more of your time. So to be fair, that might be part of the reason. But also the stuff with my creative thinking class was like, wait until this day to do this. So I was like, okay, so now I need to pause working on that class and do something else. Fucking midterms are next week. My midterm for my math class is next week. So damn, that's fucking sudden. that was short. Writing class, I bet they use pronouns there. Yeah, they do. I know, it's so woke. The other day I was streaming with Jovan, and he was doing that thing that he likes to do whenever he has a white co-host, where he like accuses them of being racist. And I was like, how dare you call me racist? I'm reading Octavia Butler. Which I thought was very funny. And then we took our first caller, and I was like, oh good, someone to save us from this racially fraught conversation. What a coincidence. I'm giving a second midterm next week. A second midterm? Do you do 2 of them? Why? Why are you doing 2 of them? One major and 1 minor or 2 majors is fine, but 3 majors was dumb and overworking for no real gain. I will say, I've heard that it's the case with engineering that it's pretty easy to acquire more degrees because so much of the first couple years of what you do in engineering, like it doesn't matter what kind of engineering you go down, you take a shit ton of math. Like I'm having to take chemistry, and that's not even relevant to electrical engineering, right? Like there is a chemical engineering program on the horizon that I could go to, and I'm like not going to do chemical engineering, but the chemical engineering is interesting, and it could still apply to what what I want to do, because there are chemicals involved in the creation of solar panels, for example. So that could still fit into a context of like electrical engineering type stuff, but it's different. Or like batteries, like that's a chemical engineering solution oriented problem in large part. So yeah, but it's interesting because chem is required, at least one chemistry class is required for the electrical and computer engineering that I'm going down. So anyway, midterm doesn't mean halfway. Oh, it just means like in the middle, just any like exam that is given. I give 2 midterms to dilute the impact of one bad test on the final grades. Okay, that's nice of you. That's nice. We've had 1 midterm, yes, but what about second midterm? Yeah, I do think that's very funny. I have like a review sheet that, man, I'm doing the thing now where I'm good enough at the math that I'm doing it really fast and other people are slower, and I'm like, did I get something wrong? And sometimes I do get something wrong, but like a lot of the time I don't, and I'm like, oh, I forgot. This is what it's like when I'm in school. I'm like, I just zoomed through this thing in like 1 minute, and there's people who are taking more than the 5 minutes we were prescribed. It's real weird. I'm not like bragging. It's weird. You just have math brain. Yeah, I guess so. I got math brain. Sorry, Lux, the entry-level chemistry for engineers course is typically so general that it's basically useless. Well, good, because that means that it's going to be easy. I'm planning on going into civil engineering for college. I don't know whether commercial or residential, though. I guess it depends on what you want to do. I have found that I enjoy doing commercial work more than residential work because I just felt like, I mean, maybe it had to do with my coworkers, but I felt like doing commercial work as an electrician was better because you can't like play fast and loose with the standards in a commercial building. And I found that it was a frustration of mine at times when I would be working with our residential electrician and, you know, we were not following the code exactly. Like, not in an overtly unsafe way, but in a like, you know, it does say that you're supposed to support that wire every X amount of distance. And yeah, I did find it frustrating that it felt like we were playing fast and loose a little bit in the residential. So I liked commercial better. That's my 2 cents. I don't know if by civil engineering you mean like building entirely new buildings, because I am guessing in that case that as far as regs go, that would be similar. But I don't know if by civil engineering do you mean like architecture or like, I don't know. This is what I mean. Engineering, very broad terms. Like, what do you mean by civil engineering? That could mean many, 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 many things. Considering the class average on my first midterm that I gave was 66%, I do not regret padding in with a second one. Yeah, that's fair. The real question is, do you organize your work well? Do you mean in terms of like writing down my work, like writing my thought process down and solving the equations and stuff? I do okay because I want to be able to look back at it later and understand exactly what I did. Like, if there's a part that I don't understand, I put a big question mark next to it and then I ask the teacher what happened here. And sometimes it's like, oh yeah, we factored it. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't really help me understand exactly what you did here. Like I think I just need to personally review factoring a little bit because it's still like, I'm like, okay, but if we factored it, then why is there still a bx right there? Like why did it not completely cancel it out? I don't know. There was like one equation we did this week that I was kind of like, I still don't really understand how we got where we are, but I'll just accept it for the time being and come back to it later. It is something that I will need to learn later because it is a calculus thing. It was like, we're only doing a little tiny bit of advanced calculus stuff because this is a pre-calc class. The class that I'm in is basically like, for a lot of the people in my class, it's their last math class. And I'm like, why are you as a nurse having to take this class? Like, why is this happening to you? But it's the first of like many advanced math classes that I'm going to have to take. So it's just really funny. More of general construction and architectural design. Okay, fun. Oh, Legally Mod says, chemistry for engineer professors typically have a chip on their shoulder and hate engineering students, so they make it as difficult as possible. I actually don't think the chemistry class that I'm meant to take is chemistry for engineers. I think it's just an intro level chemistry class. So I'm hoping that there isn't any particular hurdles. We will fucking find out, though, dude. We will find out, because I'm taking it. Factoring is a lot of practice. Yeah. It's like I understand factoring in a certain context, but then there's certain contexts where I'm like, I don't understand how that thing that I learned before applies to this particular set of variables. But anyway, sorry, I don't mean to do math. Okay, here's a biomechanical thing that I just figured out, okay? And I'm going to share it with you because I think it's useful. I may have talked about this already before on stream, but if I haven't, then cool, you're getting something new. And if I'm repeating it, then guess what? That's how you learn things. So, oh, my YouTube just decided to reset itself. Let's make sure that it's working. Are we still here? Yes, I think we're still here. Okay, let me bring back my chat. Hello, chat. Welcome. So, many of us have bad posture. You know, many of us are trying to figure out how to have good posture, right? Like, ooh, do I have a weird hip tilt? Like, why does my lower back hurt all the time? Oh, you know, I'm trying to like, excuse me. Oh my God, I'm drinking soda, so the burps are occurring. There we go. So, you know, I do this thing where I'm like my shoulders are up all the time and it bothers me and I don't want to do it and I'm trying to like work it down. But for some reason, it just keeps it just keeps happening all the time. And I think I've figured out how to solve that problem. So I don't know how any of you feel about this, but like, so something that I'm working on in the gym right now is I'm trying to round off my shoulders, right? Like I'm trying to build my anterior and like exterior delt here and build up this like rounded muscular shoulder situation, right? But in order to not become unbalanced, you have to work out the back part of your shoulders too. Like there is some stuff happening back here that is part of your shoulder. And it is weird because you're like, isn't that my back? Nope, it's your shoulder. Like down in here, this area, this is like shoulder mechanics back here. So in one hand, I'm doing shoulder press, which is it does activate your traps. So that's what is doing this all the time. When you're up like this, that's your trapezius right here. That's this muscle. So that's why your shoulders hurt all the time up here. Like you got knots in your shoulders up here. That's because of your trapezius being overactive. Your upper trapezius, anyway, being overactive. You can also work your lower trapezius and it'll help. But so in addition to pushing up, and like I try really hard to keep my shoulders down to keep my trap activation to a minimum, because that's what trap activation does. It shrugs your shoulders up. So if you try to just like maintain your shoulders down while you're doing the movement, like you're not going to be able to keep your traps completely out of it, but you can get them mostly out of it. And then it only really wants to activate near the top of the motion. So you're okay. But in order to not have an imbalance, you have to work the back as well, right? Like I just said. So you do that by doing face pulls. And you do that by setting up like the little ropes. You ideally want to adjust the cable thing to where it's at like chest level, and then you grab the thing, and it has like you want a little bit of tension on it at the like your elbows are out here kind of level, a little bit of tension on it, and then you pull it back, and then you open out into like a as though you're flexing like this, but it's just like pulled back, and then you bring it back out. And again, you're trying to keep your shoulders down and not activate your traps. And so you're focusing on like pulling your shoulder blades together in the back, like what it would be like to like with the muscles over here again, like pulling your shoulders in or back, and like keeping your fists kind of low and everything, keeping your shoulders kind of low. And that, my friends, is how you maintain good shoulder posture. Because I think what's happening is your traps are activated, and so you try to let them go, but then your shoulders aren't stabilized by anything. And when you try to like, I've seen people, you know, and I used to do it too, where it was like pull your shoulders back, but like weirdly, I feel like that was happening with some thing in the front of my body where I was like pushing them back, like or like with my arm musculature, and that didn't feel more stable, and it doesn't feel like it helps. Because what you have to do when you're standing, walking around, you have to just slightly pull your shoulders back with the shoulder muscles that are on your back. And what it does is it stabilizes your shoulder, but it does allow you weirdly like this. So it's like if I'm stabilizing my shoulder using my back shoulder muscles, oh my God, I'm like, your arms can still sway, as opposed to like if I'm stabilizing my shoulders by shrugging, then I don't have the mobility. It's mobile at my elbow, but not in my shoulder. So anyway, that's a really fun thing that I've learned, is like the mind-body connection to my, I can't remember what the name of it is, but the shoulder muscles in the back. And just like, it's helping so much. It's not perfect because this is like a matter of habit, but once you strengthen the muscle enough that you don't really need to think about keeping it tensed anymore, and you just train your body like this is the stabilizing muscle that you need to use, which doesn't take very long. It only takes a couple weeks. But yeah, that's a little tip from me to you. If you feel awful in your shoulder trapezius area, then maybe you need to work on your shoulder strength specifically. Yeah, I guess the posterior delts. Thank you, Fen. Yeah, so you, Fen, I'm sure maybe you already know all this, and like, but this is like a realization that I've had recently. I was just like, you know what? I want to round out my delts. I want to just have more sexy muscular shoulders, and by just trying to keep things even, I discovered these muscles in my back that are apparently like critical to like posture and remaining upright. Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna get some water, like real quick. Okay. I actually needed some salt. So, sorry for that. I had a little heart palpitation moment, and then I was like, you know what? Let's get some salt. It's Lawrence. What's up, Lawrence? Hello, hello. Erector spinae and latissimus dorsi combined with TVA work can make so many posture issues go away. I don't know what TVA is. Also, I'm having a struggle right now, and if anybody knows the answer to this, then please let me know. How do I work out my lower back without aggravating my bulging disc? Because, like, they say you shouldn't try to stretch to touch your toes. So basically, you can't put your back in extreme flexion. Doesn't like that. But also, I've read that you shouldn't do hyperextensions. And I've been doing hyperextensions as a means of trying to, like, strengthen my low back. Like, so I'm strengthening my core. I'm doing ab workouts every week. And I'm trying to do back workouts. But doing hyperextensions aggravates my bulging disc. So how the fuck do you work out your lower back muscles without exacerbating a bulging disc? I mean, like, I get like morning glories, maybe. Is that you know, because you're not like putting your back in extreme flexion. Time variance authority. Oh, you're making. Oh, we're making a joke about Tom Hiddleston's very good posture when he's wearing the collar. Is that what we're talking about? I still haven't watched Loki. Does salt help with that? I always eat a banana to stop the palpitations. So it's an electrolyte thing. For me at least, when I get heart palpitations, like it's warm in my office right now. I decided to turn off the AC unit because it's just too fucking loud. And it's just gonna get warm in here for a bit. So I get a little bit of palpitations. I hadn't had any salt earlier in the day. Salt is an electrolyte. And you are eating a banana, which has potassium in it, which is also an electrolyte. Electrolytes help water move in your cells. Like when your cell membrane is like, hey, let's get some water in here, salt is a necessary component, or electrolytes in general. That's what an electrolyte is. It's a thing that can bind with water to help it cross the cell membrane. So it helps to bring water into cells, and it helps to move fluids out of cells. And yeah, so potassium can help with that. If you get an electrolyte mixture, it's typically going to have salt and potassium and something else sometimes. But yeah, that's why plants crave them. Exactly. I don't actually know if plants use electrolytes in the same way. I would guess that they must use some kind of similar, if not the same, mechanism. But like their cell walls, yeah, like I feel like there has to be some kind of like piggyback to get the water through the cell wall. Magnesium is the other one. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I haven't seen Idiocracy in a really long time. I don't know how it would hold up. Just eat raw meat from a good source. This is health, you know? Hard to argue. Wait, hold on. I hope you libs are happy. Who? Where do you see a lib? There's no libs here. I mean, maybe some of you in chat, but like certainly I am not a lib, and like most of the people here I don't think so. Graham Plattner is proof Dems and reps are the same. Stop whining about the Epstein files. Come blah 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 is probably in to like Hillary and Bill Clinton. How are you today? How are you today, Sus? How are you? I would like to know if you had breakfast this morning. What did you have for breakfast? I just do like a protein drink with creatine, chocolate milk in the morning. That's kind of my breakfast go-to nowadays. Oh, because my YouTube reset, it also reset the chat to show top chat instead of live chat. There we go. Now I can see more of your comments. I would indulge in more meat variants if it weren't for the whole gout thing. You have gout? How about saying hello first? True. They might have. I just wasn't looking at chat, maybe. Hi, Cliff. I was going to make a joke about it being an Azan stream, but yeah, if you was having palpitations, then yeah, that is a serious reason. So no one a joke. Also, I too slow. Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, I don't know what my deal has been this week. I've just been feeling a little, well, no, I know actually exactly what it is. I'm stressed out this week because of a personal issue that I'm having. So I'm just having a little bit more symptoms than usual. I feel like I've been getting so dehydrated so fast, weirdly. So are you just getting rid of meat entirely or just red meat? I don't know what gout, I don't really understand gout, if I'm being honest. Sapphic says, oh, hi, Sapphic. So the only thing Plattner is proof of is that there's a very good reason why it's common sense to shut people out when they have Nazi tattoos. It's one of the most reliable red flags that exists. Listen, fair. I was willing to accept that, like, if you were young, listen, there's lots of Nazi symbols that I don't even know about, okay? And I could see potentially being like, I want to get a skull and crossbones, and like not understanding the specific one that you got. I could maybe understand that being the case. I understand people's consternation around that, and those people have been vindicated. So I'm definitely not gonna like argue right now about that instinct because they turned out to be right in this situation. I don't think that that's necessarily going to be the case in every situation. I'm sure that there's plenty of idiots who've accidentally got Nazi-themed tattoos who just didn't know. So I try not to hold it against people until they kind of demonstrate further their character. I used to work in a bar and kicking out Nazis was a regular occurrence. Interesting. Did that person leave? Are they still here? Someone tag them. Are they still here? The sus guy, the guy with the Among Us profile picture. I never trusted him, but I'm not happy I was right. Yeah, I do think that the being like gleeful of like, ahaha, this promising Democratic candidate who was using rhetoric that was reaching across like, and you know, reaching people who had been previously radicalized, or encouraging like a let's try to figure this shit out together moving forward thing. Like I liked his rhetoric, and I found him personable, like, you know, but shit happens, you know, you got to reevaluate when given new information. And I just don't think we should be gleeful that this candidate who, you know, seems to be picking up steam is actually a shitty guy, you know? Like, that's not a win for anybody. That's not something you should gloat about. I wish he was a good guy. Yeah, that is exactly. Like, I wish he was a good guy because I thought he was. Like, he seemed like he might be a good guy. Or like a guy who's trying to fucking figure his shit out. Like, whatever, you know? I'm cool with it. But yeah, just disappointment. That's why you don't have heroes. I found this magnesium glycinate drink mix with L-theanine and tart cherry. It's so good I switched from my regular magnesium glycinate pills. Isn't L-theanine supposed to be like incredible for you? Isn't that one of the things in green tea that's supposed to be so fucking good for you? And then yeah, people just take L-theanine tablets or whatever. Did I not? Yeah, I did. Okay. I did add the donations to make the number go up. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Yeah, I think I got an article served up to me about L-theanine earlier today. Okay, it's like from Nature. Something is like, sometimes Google is just like, hey, do you want to read about this? And I'm like, maybe. Excuse me. Excuse me. So apparently this conclusion, L-theanine is safe and shows a robust short-term benefit on attention in healthy adults with a potential antidepressant effect warranting confirmation in high-quality trials, especially in clinical populations. So Yeah. I think L-theanine is one of those ones that probably has a lot of benefit that we just have not taken the time to test for. Because it's like, what is it about green tea that's so good for you, right? Like, why is drinking green tea associated with like positive health outcomes? You know, it's like, it seems like on its own it can make a difference. So what is it about green tea that does that? Maybe L-theanine. These sweet potatoes slap. I'm so excited for you. Sweet potatoes are delicious. Yeah, the difference now is that Plattner is out and Trump is in the White House. Yeah. That's the other thing too. Like, at least Democrats are like, I mean, maybe Gay Asparagus. I think I recognize your username. Man, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? And I don't actually know if this is true of the Democrats as a whole or if this is more just like a left-leaning tendency, but we're immediately like, you know, even I, like a leftist who is like, yeah, I kind of like Graham Plattner. I'm like, yeah, we can't back him though. Like, he can't be in a leadership position. He cannot be in a position of authority, should not be given political power. Like, no. Yeah. I was really hoping my feeling about Graham Plattner was wrong. Lots of folks really seemed to be excited that a quote normal dude was giving permission to others to change and figure shit out. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. L-theanine is supposedly a metabolic enhancer. Okay. Since we're talking about tea now, any new teas for you, Lux? I can't remember if I've talked about this, but I did start getting teas from the Good Dot store. I had gotten a bunch of sample teas, and then I have a subscription through them for like every 3 months because I get some of my cleaning supplies and things from Good Dot store, which I recommend that you should all do that too, right? If any of you are like, I need new laundry detergent, consider checking out Good Dot store and see if that's a better deal, like a deal that makes more sense to you, where you can buy the powder instead of the liquid detergent, and all of the profits go toward, I think all of the cleaning supply stuff goes toward rebuilding coral reefs. And every profit of everything sold on Good Dot store goes toward some kind of charitable something or other, whether it's tuberculosis or like hospitals to cure tuberculosis or helping the coral reefs or whatever, like all of it. So highly recommend. But they have a tea subscription thing, and so I for a while I had like a black tea that had like bee pollen and I think marigold flower in it. And that's fucking easily the best tea that I have. I ran out of my tea with roses and bergamot oil. I haven't gotten any more of that in a while, but I also got from Good Dot store a ginger tea, because ginger is supposed to be anti-inflammatory, and so is mint, but I'm like not the biggest fan of mint tea. It's just kind of not my thing. But I like ginger. So in terms of like, you know, I want to reduce my inflammation, or like I just really am craving tea, but it's late in the day, I have been partial to, it's like got ginger and like cayenne pepper. It's like good shit. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Been watching The Line mainly. I like when you're on. Thank you. I am on a lot in July. I'm going to be a busy fucking bitch in July. As far as I know, I'm doing double duty, Takis and then Calling It Now for the next 3 Thursdays. And I did it last Thursday too. And I think the only reason I didn't do it the Thursday before that was that I had class that day and I asked for the day off. I was like, hey, I don't know what my schedule is going to be like, so please don't make me work that day. So I think that I will be on Calling It Now all 5 of the Thursdays this month, unless they get a debate set up that kicks me off. I'm pretty much going to be doing that every Thursday for the foreseeable future, I guess. And then I'm on Takis for the first 4 Thursdays of this month. So your boy is going to get paid. Oh, fuck. And we have fucking the Forest Erica thing on we have the Forest Erica thing on Monday, so I've got like an 8-hour show on Monday. Ugh. Yeah, and I've been producing as well, like a couple of days a week. Like typically 3 days a week. I mean, I did a lot more because Arden was out in June, so I did more for that. I ended up doing 5 shows a week, 4 days a week, because I did 2 on Sundays. So yeah, I have been a busy bitch, but I like it. I like being busy. Like, I'm enjoying it. And I do expect that there might be a little bit of a crash out at the end of the term, but then I have several weeks before the next term starts, So I am looking forward to potentially crashing and catching up on all the TV shows and movies that I couldn't watch between between the 2 terms. I'll be all right. I'm the opposite. I love how mint tastes, but as a trans mask, I don't really like how it affects hormones. I have never heard that mint can affect hormones in any meaningful way. I've never heard that before. All I know is it's supposed to help with inflammation. I love ginger tea, but I don't buy any. I'll just get a few slices of fresh ginger and a star anise pod with some honey. Ooh, that sounds good. I do have star anise. I bought like a big thing of it, and I keep it around for making like aroma pots in the fall. I love winter mint and spearmint more than peppermint. I was thinking about buying a mint plant just because I kind of want to have a plant that I don't really need to fuck with at all, and it will just live forever. And I think if I have a potted mint plant, that might be what happens. So winter mint might be a good option. If you're ever running low on co-hosts, hit me up. Yeah, unfortunately, as far as me needing a co-host, it's usually on Takis. So please, actually, everybody, let me know. Do you guys know any other trans creators who are at least agnostic, if not atheist? They don't have to primarily argue that point, but a transgender, either atheist or agnostic, who is a leftist and is good for debate. Good at debate, willing to try debate, and 4, already has an established audience, like a decent established audience, not somebody who just started last week or something, and like trans men in particular, we're looking for trans men, and we're looking for non-white people to join our crew, because we are down to basically like only 3 regular hosts on Takis, which is why I'm going to be on 4 times this month. But Arden is still not ready to go back to being on camera, and Dr. Ben is now working on being a doctor full-time again, so does not have the flexibility to come hang out with us. No offense, maybe, but I don't know his religious views. Fucking getting no offense and re-justifying calling it the Transatlantic Call-In Show. Yeah. I just don't know I don't know if he does debate. Does he do I've never seen him do debate. But debate and the religious views thing, yeah, I don't know what his religious views are either. I grew some chocolate mint plant, and it does smell nice, but its flavor was not my favorite. Okay. I may be thinking of spearmint specifically, but it targets free testosterone androgens, I think, but I could be wrong. Oh, wow, that would be weird. Queen Coke Francis. That is a good point. I feel like Jimmy probably already reached out or considered Cat Black. We have reached out and considered Cat Black. She is not interested, and we completely respect and understand why she is not interested. Makes perfect sense to me why you would not want to be the representative of Black trans women or Black trans people on our mostly white. The whole network is mostly white. We're doing our best, everybody. We're literally trying. We're literally going out of our way to seek a more diverse cast of individuals on the team. So, have you heard of Golden Milk? It's a warm drink of milk, turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, and black pepper. I've never heard about that before. That's so interesting. Zoro, what are you talking about? What? What? Are you okay? Okay, I'm trying to figure out what's the first message from Zoro. Also, I never heard how Arden is doing and don't know what happened. She had a surgery that she wanted to have. I guess she's been talking about it on her Facebook. I don't know if she's been talking about her Instagram. Um, I don't want to like talk about her business unless she's talking about her business, but she had a trans affirming surgery and she is doing great. She's back to work now as of this week. She had been kind of working her way back up to it and now she's producing. So she'll be producing for us tomorrow on Takis. Yeah, she's doing great. She did have a little bit of a fever at one point during the process, but she's doing amazing. She's doing way better than people typically do with recovery for this surgery. So she's doing great, and she's going to be talking about it. If she's not already talking about it on her social media, she's going to keep doing that. Dead Domain doesn't like debate. Yeah, that's not surprising to me at all. I think Noah's agnostic, but I don't know how seriously he takes it. Yeah, that's the one benefit of Takis is that it does not, like, we don't necessarily talk about religion specifically. We're arguing about trans people. So, like, ideally, somebody who is good at debating on trans issues and is, like, good at communicating on that. No, are you saying No Offense makes fun of religion a lot? Okay, that makes sense. Have you heard of Leah Pasanidi? She put me on to Jack and by extension you. No, I have never heard of her. Leah Pasanidi. Okay. Another white trans femme, which, listen, I love everybody, but that is one of the very well represented components of the channel. So it's not necessarily the direction that we are trying to get toward. I guess as a non-binary trans woman, she's at least like a little bit different, but yeah, that's like probably the one type of person that we're not gonna reach out to right this second. What is the YouTube channel? What needs contributors? We are, I'm just kind of spitballing and looking to seek out other trans creators for The Line, specifically the Transatlantic call-in show on Thursdays, where we take trans-related calls specifically. So, yeah. And so we have Riverboat Jack, who's a white trans woman, and if Arden ever comes back to hosting, which she will at some point, she is a white trans woman. I am a white trans masculine non-binary person, and Josie is a white or half white trans woman. I think she is Hispanic, but she is like super light skinned, and I think like one parent is white and one parent is Hispanic. So yeah, we're basically like full up on women on Takis, and we're full up on white people for the most part. Like, I'm gonna have a guest soon, Jay McCrite. If any of you are familiar with Jay McCrite, he's been around in the atheist community for a very, very, very long time, and we did secure him for a guest spot on Takis this month, and I'm gonna be co-hosting with him, so I'm very excited about that. So it's like, he is a white guy, but at least like he's a trans man, and we need that. Like, we don't have Dr. Ben now. So, but in an ideal world, we would like to get some more folks of color, especially on Takis and on The Line in general. Water. The hosts are pretty pasty, not gonna lie. Listen, we're self-aware about it. We're very self-aware. And I know maybe it's like shitty to be like, saying like specifically like, we are seeking more diversity, and that means that we're not necessarily reaching out to certain people. I don't know. Have you heard of Left of the Box? Left of the Box. I am not familiar. Leah Pasanidi said she tried reaching out to Takis recently. Okay. I don't know if maybe that was in an email or something. Okay, what am I doing? What was I about to do? I was about to look up somebody. What happened to Dr. Ben? He's great. He's just doing doctor stuff now. He was trying to find a medical program to go be in, and he found one. So he's in a medical program, like finishing becoming a doctor and everything. Okay. Left of the box is what you guys said. Hi, baby. Hey, princess. Hi. She's so funny. Yeah, baby? Oh, I know. I know all about it. I know. She really wants me to play with her. She really wants me to beat her up. I think you're in a situation where no black trans creators will want to be the first / token, and therefore none will take the plunge. Who? It's like, if in order for it to be like, I think no black trans creators will want to be the first. Amongst whom? There's only one that I know of that it has like a meaningful following. Like, I don't know. And again, I'm like only on YouTube. That's maybe me because I'm not on TikTok or whatever. But like, what other black trans creators are there? Excuse me. Ty Turner, maybe. I don't think he's ever really done debate. Jamie Dodger is another trans man. IDK what most of his content is. Yeah, Jamie isn't a fan of debate, not his style. I did ask. I would have assumed that he would not want to invite that energy into his life. So that's understandable. Noah is atheist. He just doesn't talk about it much. Yeah, and it has to be a person who is willing to align their brand with our brand is the other thing, too. Like, if No Offense is signed with a music label, which he probably is, then maybe his existing business relationship would prevent him. Like, we would absolutely love to get Rhett McLaughlin on for like maybe a deconstruction only episode where we don't take any combative calls or something, but he would have to be willing to align his brand and by extension, to some extent, like the Good Mythical brand to our brand. And that's like, there might just be like a fundamental disconnect there where it's like, it might reflect weirdly on the company as a whole for Mythical to have Rhett come on our atheist debate show. You know what I mean? But we would fucking love to. Like, trust, we would, there's so many people we would love to reach out to, or we have, and it just doesn't make sense to do it, to have like a professional relationship. They're really giving up easily today. We've had a couple weirdos in today, and they've given up really easily. It's interesting. I had a friend who was a black trans woman streamer, but she said it was so ridiculously unsustainable because of all the trolls. That's one of the great things about being a host of a network. No, I guess the thing is that you would have to have your own independent following to some extent, because it's like Jimmy's policy to not bring on somebody that we are launching their career for them. We want somebody who like has already kind of put some work into it. But one of the great things is that there is a call screener. Now it's fucking me doing the call screening. We have a call screener. So there's a buffer already where like a person is going to have to at least pretend to be normal for the time that they're talking to me, or they won't make it on the show. And we have moderators in the chat. So I think our hosts, if we have like a black host, they shouldn't need to worry so much about that. I also, okay, this is something that I did notice recently. We have, sometimes people will call in and they pretend to be normal for the screener. And then sometimes they'll even wait for like an hour and a half. And then you bring them on and they just say the N word over and over again because they're trying to get our stream taken down. But that has never happened when we've had a black host on, to my knowledge. Maybe it has happened on a different stream, but that when I have had that happen, it has never been when there's a black person hosting. So, I don't know. Your mileage may vary. It seems like that type of thing is less like racialized. Like the people who call in and just say the N-word over and over again. It's kind of like more a tactic to hurt our channel than it is to hurt the hosts. But obviously, I have not been there for every single show that Thinker's been on or that Javon has been on. Maybe they are as tired of their arguments as we are. Maybe. Maybe. Trolls are above all else cowards. Yeah. Happened on Calling It Now with Jovan. I thought, hey, listen, it may have happened. I just don't think I've been there. Like, all the times that I can remember it happening have been when there's 2 white hosts. Because I have to be like, oh, and like try to mute the person. Like, because sometimes when you click hang up on Calling It Now, it takes a second. But I can like mute them faster. Lucretia McEvil? Is this a recommendation? Lucretia McEvil? Subculture, activism, art. Excuse me. I'm guessing this person is a black trans woman, or maybe a black non-binary person. She/they. Okay. Promising. 23K subs. Interesting. Yeah, and maybe I'm asking the wrong crowd of people here too, because if y'all are here, then you probably aren't as big of TikTok users. And I think TikTok is where this kind of debate call-in culture stuff is really popping off. Like, I just was randomly served up. It was actually on Facebook, but like in the way that TikTok and Instagram are very similar, and then you've got bleed over between Instagram and Facebook. That's kind of how this happened. But this woman named Tanisha, I think, who is a black woman, and I think an atheist, and she has a lot of videos where she does pro-trans clips for the calls. So, like, there is clearly, and like Thinker is from TikTok, and several of our other recently added hosts are primarily on TikTok Live. So yeah, it is kind of interesting seeing the different areas where this same style of content is proliferating. Just bring Blair White on simply to argue with her, yeah. Not gonna lie, the past month or two seems to just be full of trolls for all sorts of debate channels I follow, and few substantial calls. I feel like it's really been coming and going. You know, some days it feels like we have a dearth of callers, versus sometimes it's like, oh my god, where are all these people coming from? Thank you, Eggy Jones. Hope you're having a good one. I have neither ticked nor talked. Miles J Productions. Watch her retrospective on FEMM or Far East mention mannequins. Legit was an interesting video. Okay, she's got a big channel. Yeah, I'm not sure if this person does any debate stuff, but it is good at least to have more people on my radar. No! Oh my god, MGS gassed good luck with cleaning up your kitchen. Oh my god. TikTok feels like a great way to engage in some ADHD maxing, and nah, I'm good. Yeah, Facebook is bad enough with the mixture of text and image posts with the occasional, video thrown in there. It's a nightmare. Just checking some stuff. Make sure nothing crazy is going on my phone. The only guy I know from TikTok is this mouse I saw run up it once, then ran back down after it struck one. I like your mouse inside of a grandfather clock joke. That was good. That was good. We were learning this week about common versus natural logs in math class. I love every time I start talking about math. I'm like, some of you are going to understand, most of you are not. And it's very funny because all it takes is 3 weeks of being in a math class before you're like, oh, I speak a different language now. But my teacher was like, there's a joke somewhere in here about logs, like as in logs that you find in the forest between like common and natural logs. And it occurred to me, I was like, oh, you know what? So in Latin, vulgare means common. So like armadillo and vulgare is like the common woodlouse. So, vulgare like vulgar. And I was like, I'll just throw that to you. You can work with that. He was like, I've been trying for 20 years to make a joke about common versus natural logs. And he hasn't been able to find it. And I was like, I'll throw you a little bone here. I got a natural log. Yeah, that is the thing about the log, is that it's like there's plenty of like sexual jokes that you could make, but are you going to make a sexual innuendo to your class as the teacher on week 3? I don't know. I don't know if that's really... I have been noticing that this week I've been feeling like making a lot of dirty jokes, but then I just haven't. Like, to like my new classmates, I'm like, yes, there is a symbol on the inside of my binder that does... My binder as in like this kind of binder that has... It looks like a weirdly shaped butt plug. And like, I don't need to point that out to the person I sit next to in class. I don't need to do that. That's an inside thought. That's a thought you keep inside. My favorite number is E. Is that unironic? Like, do you mean that? Or are you just being silly and indicating that you know something that I also know? Maybe on week 4, have some decorum. Exactly. Yeah. Wait until week 4 to start making innuendos. No, I mean that. E is my favorite number. Okay. E do be popping up everywhere. That's what I hear. That's what I hear, just like pi. I thought you keep inside where? Inside your brain. You keep it inside your brain. Or maybe you whisper it into your hands. But that's still kind of that's too much outside, You don't want to let anyone in. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm trying to think what else I've been doing. We didn't end up doing anything particularly exciting this weekend. We had wanted to go on a hike, but then Deegan was really tired, so we ended up not going anywhere. I just assumed the natural log joke was a poop joke. Am I alone? Sure, yeah. But it's like, I feel like sex jokes and toilet humor are in the same kind of place where it's like, as a teacher, do you want to make that joke to your classroom? Charlotte, thank you so much for the 10 Australian with the super sticker. That's a very cute fox with a very cute heart. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. The natural number E is everywhere. Yeah. I cannot be your favorite number because it can't be. True. Yeah, one thing that I found interesting looking at logs this week was that they almost never result in a natural number, or sorry, in a rational number. It's quite interesting. Paris TTMPPED is a black trans mass creator I used to follow, but I don't think he does debate stuff usually. Yeah, that's like, I know it's tough because it's like there could be a black trans creator, but they're a Christian. Like, no, sorry, that doesn't work. That doesn't make sense for our organization. And yeah, so it's like the very specific combination of things that we need. What am I doing? Paris TTMPPED? How do you say that? TTMPPED. This is showing up as a music account for me on YouTube. He a musician? Black trans mask creator? This does look like a black masculine individual. And the last video went up 8 days ago. The last video this person put up was characters I think are LGBTQ+, and here's why. With a picture of Princess Bubblegum and the vampire. Jesus Christ. I don't know if I've even watched enough Adventure Time to get to the introduction of... Hold on. Don't tell me. Don't tell me the answer. Is it Marceline? Is it Marceline? Could they be a little pagan, just like a little spiritual, but it doesn't affect politics? Jimmy is not going to be psyched about that. Like, I am pagan in aesthetic alone, and I think even that is something that might make Jimmy a little uncomfortable, even though I'm determined to be like, I don't actually believe in any, like, supernatural shit, and it does freak me out when other people do. But I will still sit here with my wand and imagine playful scenarios in which I'm threatening somebody with my wand. I will still do that. But I think I would also do that if I had a sword. So, you know, didn't know you had a website like Xanderhall. Yikes on the Xanderhall mention. But yeah, I have my own website, luxander.net. You can find all kinds of stuff there. You can find a link to my Discord. You can find a link to my merch store, which is shopluxander.net. If you haven't found out that I have merch, that could be good for you. I'm debating. So I was in the middle of coming up with my design for a t-shirt that says, sorry about your trans derangement syndrome. And I can't decide if I want to like sell that design to the line, basically like give it to Arden to fix and make up. And then like everybody on the line makes money from us selling it. And we probably sell total more shirts that say that on it. But then I don't get the profits directly. Oh, I think also there's did somebody ask me, the question is, did I follow up? Somebody asked me to put a link to my wish list on my website. Did I do that? Did I? I did. So you can also find my wish list on the luxander.net website. So, yeah. All the things you could ever possibly need. Lux can keep the finger wand out. Yeah, my little bone finger. Little fingernail situation with my little rat skull finial. It's a great fidget. It's truly, like, just really good for gesturing, for pointing at things, for vaguely threatening people, you know? MAGA is terrified and turned on by trans people threatening them with their wands. True. Logarithms are interesting as a whole class of functions that are expressed more as a concept than as a closed form. I don't know what that means. Your hoodie is my new go-to jacket. I'm just customizing it a bunch. I love it, though. Amazing. I know. I think the hoodie is so comfy. So comfy. Here's a so-so joke. Why did natural log stand up the common log? Because the common log base everything around 10 and natural log was too eccentric. That's a joke about the word eccentric. I followed. Oh, I had one person say, girl, put the switch away, and another person say, Lux can keep the wand out. Listen. I'm just gonna touch. Just ever so slightly. Logarithms are the inverse functions of power / exponential functions, but need to have their own special name invoked is all I mean. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. And I did notice, I was like, so in a way, kind of exponents have like two different inverse functions. But the difference is whether your exponent is a constant or a variable. You use square roots to invert powers that are constant, but you use logarithms to invert powers that are variable. I understand what is happening in my math class. I'm pretty sure. And that feels good. We can have a little non-believer witchy aesthetic as a treat. Yeah. And like I said, I actually had like an on-air conversation with Jimmy. It was almost like a debate between us, like a contention between us about the fact that I own tarot decks. He was like, you didn't have to buy them. I mean, he wasn't really confronting me directly, but like, you didn't have to spend money contributing to this in the same way that we try to avoid sending money and attention to Mormons, because Mormons, you know, they take 10% of their income and give it directly to the Mormon church, which is a cult. And so we're trying not to contribute to those things. And so similarly, you know, if we try not to financially support the Mormon church, even indirectly, and if it's such a big deal that people bought Hogwarts Legacy because it gives money to J.K. Rowling, who then spends it on stripping trans people of their rights, then it completely follows that we should take caution around spending money, even if we are just doing it to have fun, on industries that are completely predicated on taking advantage of gullible and vulnerable people, which is to say, like the psychic industry and the mediums and tarot card readers, because they are sometimes taking advantage of people who do genuinely believe that this person has some kind of crazy divine power or whatever to see into the person's soul, or to read the cards and tell you the future or whatever. Obviously, tarot is really not telling you the future, but there are people who sell it that way and people who believe it that way. So it does make sense to me, and I already kind of didn't plan to buy any more tarot decks, because I have the one that was a gift and I like that one a lot, and then I bought another one and it's a bitch to me every single time. So yeah, it's, I guess, like, on one hand, I'm kind of getting away scot-free because I wasn't really planning to spend any more money on tarot cards anyway, but I almost certainly won't now, unless it's from like an individual and not something that was mass printed, because, you know, I don't want to support the industry that is, you know, capitalizing on stupid people or whatever. Thank you, Charlotte, for the 2 Australian, who says, who the hell wants a square root? Keep roots queer. True. I do have the singlet as well, but my current fave is by Sophie LaBelle. It says, nice gender. Did your mom pick it out for you? Yeah, it was a good one. Okay, I've got Paris. I've got a link up for Paris. I'll check that out. Onyenye. I don't know how the fuck you pronounce that, but I'm sure I could learn. Oninye, the dream girl? Is that who you mean on Instagram? No numbers are rational when I'm doing it. They tried to trick me with algebra, but the letters based just turned out to be numbers. Cringe with extra steps. There's no argument to be made on that one. Delicious. Okay, congratulations to her. She recently got her 100th subscriber on Substack. It says she's a musician. Are we still making recommendations for people who might want to join my debate channel? Is that what we're doing? Or what are we doing now? Are we just making music recommendations now? I have a Sophie LaBelle shirt that says transgender for everybody. Yeah, I'm definitely in a phase where I would like to expand what's on my merch store, because right now it's just like my logo on a bunch of different things. And actually, it's on way less things than it used to be. I've slimmed it down quite a bit to only the things that were selling better. But yeah, if there's something I should put on a t-shirt, like if I ever say something during a stream that you're like, oh, that would be amazing on a t-shirt, let me know. I am also hopefully going to have the skills to put some more creative energy into maybe coming up with some original ideas and designs. I haven't really like blocked out time for that, but I do feel a lot more equipped now that I have, like, I'm pretty sure my creativity class, or like my, whatever, I don't know what to call it, but my art class that's teaching about the creative process, I'm pretty sure what they're teaching us is stuff that is used in like corporate boardrooms to come up with new and innovative ideas. So I think it's like probably going to end up being one of the most valuable classes I ever take. There's this method called Scamper, which is basically an acronym that tells you a bunch of different attributes to look at that could change the thing that you're working on. Or like, it's about generating a lot of ideas. Like, one of the core elements of getting a good idea is to produce a lot of ideas, because now not every idea is going to be great, but if you pump out a long list, like, okay, do I want to go dig it out of my backpack? I had an assignment that was basically like, take two objects and combine them together somehow. And it was like, she was like, the further away in concept the two objects are, the better off you'll be in being able to come up with something. And I chose this tiny little bottle of Kraken, empty, obviously, but I bought this specifically because of the cute tiny little bottle this lives on my bookshelf, and then my Kershaw pocket knife. So, I came up with a lot of ideas for this creative list of like different ways to combine these objects in concept or in some of their parts or elements. Like I came up with like a pocket knife that has these like little rum handles like this, so that you don't drop the pocket knife, or using the bottle and the knife as a way to reenact the scene where Samwise Gamgee fights off Shelob the spider, because he's holding the bottle of Starlight and the dagger. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And she was like, don't worry about the practicality. And one of the categories that she offered in the class was, it could be a fantastical thing. Because she gave some other categories that's like, imagine how this could be a musical instrument, or imagine how this could be a health and beauty thing. Like something fantastical that defies the laws of physics. Could it happen in a sci-fi novel or in a video game? Like, include those ideas too. So, yeah, I think that's super useful. So I want you all to know about Scamper, because I think if you guys do any kind of problem solving, that it's super duper useful to know about. So I have Scamper. There's just like a Wikipedia page. Let me open this. Okay, so there's just like a Wikipedia page on Scamper, which is like, the first one is substitute. So could you substitute some part of the thing to make a creative idea? Combine. So like, you could add two ideas together and see, like, so that was kind of the thing, was like, combine, and we're going to try a lot of different ways to combine. And then you can also factor in these other ones. Adjust. Is there something that could be adjusted about this? Modify, magnify, minify. Could you make it bigger or smaller? put to other uses. You know, is there some other way that you could use this thing? Eliminate. If you got rid of some part of it, what would happen? Or reverse or rearrange. So I was thinking like, okay, well, a knife is like a weapon, but what if the bottle was the weapon? And so I was like, what if you put a knife on the edge of a table with the bottle on the knife, and then you smack the knife down and flip the bottle in as like a very weak and ineffective trebuchet. Because the other thing about the ideas is that they don't have to make sense, and it doesn't have to be a good musical instrument, or it doesn't have to be a good weapon. So yeah, that's just like a little tidbit, a little bite-sized piece of something that I learned in one of my classes that I think is probably going to change the rest of my life. Mina! You're a good girl. Are you struggling? Did I put a lot of stuff over there? Mm-hmm. Good luck. Hi, baby. Good girl. Swiss Army bottle. Yeah. Animated Hobbit movie mentioned? No. Wait, who meant? No, I was talking about not the Hobbit. When Samwise Gamgee faces the spider Shelob in Return of the King, actually. I think we got derailed by log puns and stopped recommending people. Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm okay with it. A way to turn creativity into a skill that can be practiced. Nice. Yeah. And we've had like numerous examples brought to our attention of ways that very profitable companies have used the skill of combination, or have used various of these scamper skills to make innovative things. Like, have you ever thought about the fact that Magic the Gathering, which basically was the first trading card game, combined the idea of collectible trading cards, like baseball cards, which you didn't play a game with them, you didn't do anything, you just collected them and you traded them, right? With card games, a la the kind of card games that you play with a 52 card deck. And they just combined the two ideas with like collectible individual cards with independent stats and information on them with a gameplay mechanic. Boom. Like in 1993, they started, like Wizards of the Coast created Magic the Gathering, and then by 1995, it was like $1 million industry already. So using these skills can create huge innovations that can like, and also to some extent, like I would say they also combined the third thing, which is the Tolkien aesthetic of like a fantasy world. So like fantasy, imagine like fantasy trading cards with a game component. So there's like 3 elements that were combined. So yeah, we're talking big brain fucking innovative original ideas that you can get with this process. And I think it helps too, because so many people think of creativity as just a thing that happens to you. And that's how I've often treated creativity, is like, well, you know, I'll feel a creative spark or inspiration. And that is a great way to burn out and hate yourself. You kind of just have to do a process. And like certain steps of the process, you can bounce back and forth between different levels or like different phases of the creative process. It's not linear, but it is a process with defined, specific, separate phases. And you can't be in both phases at the same time, you know? Like, if you have to either be coming up with ideas or scrutinizing those ideas. You can't really do both at the same time. One video we watched was like, you know, if everybody in the room stands up and they reach their arms out wide like this, like, let's talk about what that felt like. You know, that felt empowering, or it felt expansive. And then if everybody in the room reaches down and touches their toes, and then describe how that felt. Like, it felt restrictive, or it felt, it felt claustrophobic or whatever. similarly, the brain, like you can't, just like you can't be reaching up and touching your toes at the same time, they're completely mutually exclusive. Creating ideas, like generating ideas, and the like expansive focus that you need to have, like the free connection of ideas that you need to be able to do, is a completely separate brain process from let's look at that idea and evaluate how it would work, or like let's start tweaking that idea or judging that idea. So this is like a big thing that gets in the way of the creative process, is like you absolutely have to treat those as completely separate steps. Right now I'm generating ideas, I'm trying to have creative flow, I'm trying to like examine different connections. Like one of the assignments that we did was like take newspaper clippings of different photos and take one photo and try every other photo you've gathered, like random photos next to each other, and see what happens, like see what it feels like. And that helped, I think, a lot, like in introducing flexibility to the thinking process, because I would put two images next to each other and then I was starting to look for the connections between them. So two things that I'm like, I don't really see a connection between this, but then I start looking at it and I'm like, well, both of these are related to, I can't remember any specific observations that I had during that because I ended up settling on ones that were funny to me. So I'm terrible. But yeah, I thought that was really valuable. Like try to take two completely unrelated things and find the connections between them. We have a thing called a phone with an app on it called Phone. So true, Ben. So true. Thank you so much for the $5 from Fern in the Forest, who says, Frelling nerds. Indeed. You're a Frelling nerd with your Frelling... What is that? Stargate? No, that's fucking Farscape. That's Farscape, eh? Man, it's been a while, dude. I haven't watched Farscape in fucking forever. Although it is fun because Farscape... I would not have made this connection at the time. It wasn't until much later, like honestly, until much later when I was thinking about the Hunger Games, where the Hunger Games has like the peacekeepers who are dressed in white. And then in Farscape, the big bad guys, I think their whole race is called the Peacekeepers. And the one main peacekeeper guy we always see is like a shriveled old white guy. And it's like, wow, that was kind of on the nose actually. So yeah, there's like a whole Nazi element of Farscape that I hadn't considered, and I would like to go back and watch it because I was literally a baby. I mean, not literally a baby, but when I was a young warthog, I was like 6 or something when my dad was watching Farscape in the living room. And yeah, so I do think it would be kind of fun to watch it now, given that I understand that. And it's so funny that I haven't watched it at all since I was very young, but it was so vivid to me that some of those details stand out, you know, like I know Zan, like the blue lady, and then there was Chell or Chia or something, Chell, I don't know, the other blue lady. And yeah, so like I remember a lot of visual details about it for sure. And then that peacekeeper thing, and knowing that now, in the context now, and like, oh yeah, in retrospect, that was Nazi shit for sure. So I might. Comedy is a form of creativity. It might not have been the goal of that, but it is one path. Yeah, actually, humor is listed on a list of... I took some notes. I've been taking so many notes in the creative thinking class that I have because I'm like, oh shit, this is actually going to be really hugely impactful and useful to me forever. It's going to be useful for the rest of my life. So I've taken a lot more notes than I strictly need to because I'm like, oh, I want this information when I no longer have access to the class materials. But creative environment leads to creative attitudes, which result in creative thinking. And so creative attitudes, humor is listed on that list of creative attitudes. So I don't think I was actually going too wrong by but like finding those the most inspiring, like the funny combinations of pictures and phrases. Like we were supposed to take random phrases too. There was like, pair two phrases together, pair a phrase and an image together, pair two images together. She was like, you're making a meme, basically, like the adding a text to a picture thing. But yeah, I don't know. Just having a really good time so far. D&D itself was spun from existing war games plus high fantasy. Yeah, totally, totally. And you cannot doubt that Magic the Gathering took it emerged from a culture that was doing D&D and like took ideas from D&D as well. You should watch Farscape. It's so good. Okay, I don't know where to get it, and I don't have fucking time, but I'll figure it out at some point. No, I'm so thirsty and I'm out of drinks. Sounds like an educational form of a Jackbox game. A little bit, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a fun class though. I'm really feeling like a value. Real quick. Oh, okay, different thing. Okay, I misunderstood what he was talking about. Got a text from my partner earlier, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about for a second? Yeah. It's been fun to have a place that I need to go that's not my house. Like working at home does, have its drawbacks sometimes. It's like I only see people a couple times a week. And it's been better. That's been good for me on its own. I've been watching Star Trek and other stuff with Gayfesh and other friends. So that's been like a semi-regular thing. And I'm not doing it as much because I'm just like busy and we don't have a specific Star Trek thing that we're doing right now. It's just kind of whatever random episodes. So I'm not as motivated to come to the Star Trek nights, but then I've got like, I see the hosts the 3 days a week that I produce, and then usually I'll have the fourth day of the week where I'm either hosting or producing. So it's good to see people on a regular basis. But then now I'm going to class, and I have a friend at class, and I enjoy the environment, and even my online classes are like requiring interaction sometimes. It'll be like, hey, answer these questions, and then you're required, in order to get full points, you have to comment on at least 2 or 3 other people's comments in a constructive way. Like there are some specific criteria about how to be constructive. And so there is a certain amount of like getting to know people in that way. And then like my creativity class is going to assign us, I think actually both of my online classes are like requiring some kind of collaboration aspect of the process. So even the online classes are like, we're going to require you to be social to some extent. Being unemployed feels similar. Tuesdays are my anchor day because I go to a crochet group then. Otherwise, I'm home all day. Yeah, there's a crochet group that I've been wanting to go to since January, and I'm finally going to be able to do it soon. So I'm excited to potentially make friends there. It might not. It might end up being like, oh, this is too small, and there are too many people in too small of a space. But evaluating is in opposition to creating humor. Yeah. I don't even know what I said. Well, let's talk about what's coming up this week. Fill a little bit of time by talking about the upcoming schedule. It's July. Oh my God. It's been pretty nice outside recently. It's quite nice out here in the valley. It hasn't been too bad. I'm glad we got some rain recently, so maybe our wildfire season isn't going to be so crazy. Fingers crossed. I'm glad that we didn't end up with any major... I don't think there were any major fire incidents after 4th of July. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like it wasn't too bad. And then... So tomorrow I've got the Transatlantic call-in show, and I think I'm alongside Josie Caballero. So I'm going to be on with Josie, and then I'm going to be on Calling It Now. I'm going to check and see if I have a co-host scheduled. They're thinking about doing the podcast at a different time, so it might be that we start doing like Transatlantic, followed by the podcast for 90 minutes, then followed by Calling It Now, which would be a little bit inconvenient, but at least it would give me like a break between the two. But like an hour and a half break is like a weird amount of time for a break, regardless. So that might be an upcoming change. I'm not totally certain when that's going to happen. Jimmy Snow, The Line. Let's find out if we're actually scheduled for the rest of the week. Nope. Hold on. Yeah, we're not actually scheduled for tomorrow, so I guess I don't know what's going on tomorrow. That's kind of obnoxious, actually. I really dislike the last-minute scheduling stuff, but, you know, shit happens sometimes. And I think, it's like, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Jimmy, because he's taken a couple days off, and I told him to. I was like, yeah, you need to take a couple days off, like maybe 1 or 2 in a row. Try taking like a few days off in a row. So I'm trying not to need him for anything this week, but it is a little bit annoying. That's like, okay, well, it's been like, I don't know if I'm going to be doing this tomorrow. So we'll find out. I'll let you know when I know. And by that, I mean, I'll probably let you know when I tag you in the Discord that it's time for the show to start. And then as of right this second, I don't plan on picking up Sunday streams again. I think I need a little bit of a break from it, so I will continue to see you on Wednesdays. Maybe I'll do a Sunday stream like on August 2nd to make up for the fact that I'm probably not going to stream on the 29th of July, since that's typically our production day. So maybe I'll throw in a little bonus one in there. But yeah, I don't know. Not sure about how stacked my schedule is at the moment. But anyway, yeah, we're reaching kind of a natural conclusion. I will make sure to do something exciting between now and the next time I see you. Oh, don't forget to check out my Patreon or check out the memberships here on YouTube, because I just posted a video of Mina. I created for her a challenging situation, and she got so fucking mad at me. So check that out. See Miss Fluffykins, Miss Fluffy Lady experience a experience a challenge for the very first time, and then get so mad at me for presenting her with a challenging situation. So yeah, with all that, thank you so much, everybody. I plan to see you all tomorrow if you're checking out The Line, and join my Discord server. And if you're already a member of my Discord server, why don't you let me know who you would nominate to be a moderator in the Discord server, because a couple people have stepped down from their mod position and I need more mods. So yeah, thank you, everybody, and we'll see you, either I'll see you tomorrow or see you here next week. Later.